And speaking of dressed up, next was one of the more major stars of the two-night extravaganza, Becky Lynch. Now, she came out, she drives out on the stage in an SUV, the big-time Bex logos. She's got a new hairdo, a great robe. She looks like a star. And here she comes, and then there was they said where they were from. I didn't catch it or jot it down. But there was somewhere around a 70-piece college marching band with tubas and contortionists that came out on stage and played for quite some time. And what did it have to do with Bianca Belair? It wasn't, she's from Knoxville, Tennessee. If it had been the University of Tennessee marching band, okay. But it was just a marching band from somewhere in Texas, and they were playing her, I guess it was her music, but I've never heard it on tuba, piccolo, and fucking
bassoon.
Bassoon before. But here came Bianca Belair, and guess what she was doing? You'll never guess. She was smiling, skipping, and twisting her hair, twirling her hair around. And that is her entrance, and she ain't going to deviate. If somebody has broken into her home, kidnapped all of her children, and burned all of her fucking favorite DVDs, she's still going to be smiling, skipping, and twirling her hair. However, she earned it on this one. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair for the women's title. If every women's match was like this, then I wouldn't knock women's wrestling. But therein lies the tale. So many of the women's matches are not like this. That's why I suggest that maybe they ought to go for quality over quantity. Instead of having half the matches on a card be women's matches just because they're women, find some matches that deserve to be there on the card like this one and book those. And don't worry about how many there are. You liked this one, didn't you?
I actually think this may have been the best match of both nights of WrestleMania. I thought this was a fantastic match.
I'll get close with you there. It was one of the best matches of both nights of WrestleMania. Very far up there.
One of the other matches you may like was probably my second best pick, but I did want to say one other thing, and I'm dying to hear what you think of this. I want to hear your critique. We hear all the bad ones. This is one that I hoped you liked, and it sounds like you did. But for everyone that shits on the WWE's developmental, and rightfully so in so many cases, the one thing Triple H got right, and he did right, was develop main event women talent.
Yeah.
Because Becky Lynch is Triple H, Charlotte Flair is Triple H, Bayley's Triple H, Next Generation or Next Crew, Bianca, Rhea, that's all Triple H. So, there may not be the Ortons and the Cenas, but the one thing they actually did, even better than they did with the guys by far, but they actually developed main event wrestlers in the women's division, and that's something to really be proud of, actually.
And they were on here. And they both got it right. Becky Lynch was aggressive because she felt like she was the wronged party, but Bianca Belair came back in it. It seemed like that a struggle, that they were going for something. It was a contest. And I'm not going to recount blow for blow here, but observations, Bianca Belair can sell and her shit looks good. At one point, she did a modified gotch lift. One arm with Becky, and both of them fell over the top rope. Bianca giving Becky a vertical suplex on the floor, even though both of them sold it just in the middle of the match, that's a little much. But if the worst thing that I can say is, well, they shouldn't do vertical suplexes on the floor and then go another 15 minutes or whatever, this was a good match. At one point, I think Becky may have been leading it. She's the heel. I don't know if they still do that these days in the modern world. I saw they got just a touch discombobulated and got back on track. And then right after they got back on track, did you see the cannonball off top? Becky Lynch goes to the top. She's going to do one of those cannonball moves into Bianca, I guess, to end up sitting on her chest or whatever. But Bianca was either too far out or Becky's rotation was too tight, and she did a forward flip cannonball off top rope and kicked Bianca right in the fucking face. And they showed the slow-mo, her heel went right in the mush. And if you watch the original shot,
With like Leo Namalini.
When you watch the original shot they took of it, you see Becky fall and immediately look up and go, "Oh my God." And she goes to cover Bianca, but she's actually, "Are you still alive?" And they took a second there and then they got it together. But that was a hell of a potato.
Hey, if you're going to botch a move like that, that actually made it look more devastating.
Well, yeah, and then the announcers could say, "Well, I've never seen that before, a flipping drop kick to the face." And they went reversals and false finishes back and forth. Bianca went for the finish, but Becky overbalanced and she dumped her over the top rope. But then Bianca threw her back in and she rolled out the other side and grabbed Bianca's hair and pulled her into the post by the hair. I wrote, "This is great," in capital letters. Again, Becky Lynch slams her on the metal stairs, flat of her back. Boom. She beat the count at 9, and that got a pop, and Becky had a cow. But again, geez, enough injuries already. I liked the finish, and it got a big pop. Becky goes to pull Bianca up, and Bianca backflips off the turnbuckle and gets Becky up in her finish and hits that, boom, out into a 1, 2, 3, big pop, great match. I apologize for raising my eyebrows and farting in your general direction when watch Bianca Belair. She's good. I've seen her a few times. She wasn't bad, but she was really good. And Becky was excellent.
This match was really good. Becky was excellent. Becky, from the moment she comes out there, again, we have never seen this haircut before, but she's got a look. She's a star. She carries herself like a star. It's funny that Bianca, no matter what's always smiling and doing the dance with the hair, no matter what. This is a grudge match. No matter what. But beyond that, she's got size. She's strong. She's athletic. Pretty. I mean, I remember telling you way back in NXT, I said there were two people there. You were just focused on Rhea Ripley, and I agreed with you about Rhea Ripley, but I said, keep your eye on Bianca Belair. And unfortunately, she's been used a lot better than Rhea. Not unfortunately for Bianca or her fans.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Rhea Ripley, she hasn't been used anywhere near as well as Bianca Belair has. But again, Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair are main event stars, and there aren't that many.
Yeah. And they're getting fewer and farther between all the time.